Hey everyone, welcome to For Loops lecture. So for loops are fundamental to any programming language, and it allows us to iterate over elements inside of an array. So in this lecture, we're going to cover the following. We're going to for loop over lists, dictionaries, tuples, sets, as well as nested lists. Okay, so let's take a look at the first example. Okay, so here we are with example 1. So we're going to be adding values to this empty list. So we'll start off with a very basic for loop, so for I in range, and we'll do, let's say, 10. And then this code block, we'll simply do a print of I. So we get the values of 0 to 9 here. And of course I could change this, so I could do, for example, 1 to 11, that's going to give us values of 1 to 10, as you can see here. Now I don't have to have an I could have something, let's say, a K, but this also has to be K as well. And we have the exact same output, or I could have something silly, let's say cats, and we'll put in cat here as well. But really you should have something meaningful or generic. So if you're dealing with, let's say, money, then it would make sense to have, let's say, cash. You have cash here. Or if you're dealing with something very generic, then just put in I. Okay, so alternatively, let's say I have an underscore, and instead I'm going to have here hello world. Okay, so you have that output there, so 10 times, or 3 times, or 2 times, and so on. Alright, so let's have something a bit more useful. So what we'll do is we'll do a additions table. I'll put this as 10 for now. And we'll have here, let's say, add equals, I'm going to be using formatting here, plus equals dot formats, and then we'll have I, and then I, and then we'll have I plus I. Okay, so essentially it's going to have I going here, so let's say it's going to be 1, and then 1 here as well, so it's going to be 1 plus 1 is 2, and then we'll have the value that we created, so 1 plus 1 is 2, it's going to be right here. Okay, and then we'll do simply print add for now. Okay, so you can see that we have the expected output of 0 plus 0, of course, is 0, all the way down to 9 plus 9 is 18. But we don't really want to have the 0, so what we can do, of course, is 1, and we'll do 11 here. Great, okay, so you can see here we have 1 plus 1 is 2, all the way down to 10 plus 10 is 20. But let's say we want to save these values here. So this is where the mylist empty list here comes in. So all I do is instead I'll get rid of the print, I'll do mylist.append. That's going to add all of those calculated values. We'll take a look at mylist. Excuse me, that should be I plus I. Let's do that instead. Okay, so there we go. Now let's say we want to have a multiplication. So all we have to do here is just change this to an asterisk for multiplication, and also here as well. And let's take a look. Okay, so you can see 1 all the way to 100, so that's 10 times 10. And we can take a look at the output as well. So I'll just do print add. Okay, so you can see here we have the output. All right, great. So let's take a look at the next example. Okay, so next up we have example 2 with lists, and here we have 2 lists. So we have guardians and we have points. And all we're going to do is we're going to iterate over both of these lists, which are the same length. Then we're going to add the values into this leadership skills empty list here. Okay, so what we'll do is a for loop, so for I in range, then it can be either one, let's just do points, because they're the same length as each other. And then we'll do a variable, so we'll just do, let's say, v, and then we'll have here, we'll do an f string this time. So we'll have guardians indexed by I, and then do title for each of the names. Leadership level, and then we'll have here points indexed by I. Okay, and then we'll have here a print of v, and also we'll do a leadership, hit tab, and then append v. Okay, and also we'll just do leader, hit tab, Okay, so we'll have both the output of the print statements and also the leadership skills list as well. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so you can see here we have the output of printed outs of Peter, leadership level 18,000, and Rocket, of course, is the highest at 20,000, and so on. And then we have them also here as well as strings that have been appended to the leadership skills list that we had, which was originally empty. All right, so let's take a look at the next example. Okay, so here we are with example 3, which is dictionaries, and we have here two dictionaries, fruits and prices. Now with the fruits we have the names, so mango, and then we have here the quantity. In this case we have 12, and then we also have the same with mango, so the same names as with the fruits, but here we have the actual price. So what we want to do is, say for example, we want to multiply this price here with the quantity here, and then we want to have the total cost. So this is the output that we actually want. So we want this big giant dictionary, and each of them has a nested dictionary here. So you can see here we have the price 2.4, total cost is $28.8, and then QTY quantity is 12. So 12 times 2.4 gives you 28.8. And we've also rounded the values here. So we'll do that in a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll do a for loop of the prices just to get the names. And then from that, we can actually get the quantity from the fruits dictionary. So we'll do here for K. So it's typically K when we're using a dictionary in prices. And then we'll do just simply print K for now. Okay, so you can see here we've got the keys, mango all the way down to apples. And what I can do from that is we'll do the fruits equals fruits K. And then from that, of course, I can get the quantity here. So we'll put in here, let's say fruit. And in fact, I also put in K as well. Okay, so you can see here, mango, quantity 12, apples, quantity 9. Okay, so now we also want the price as well. So we'll do price equals prices, K. Okay, and so from that, we just need to multiply these two values here. That's very simple. And also I want to get the quantity as well. So we'll do here fruits, QTY, QT. Okay, and I can actually just get rid of this. All right, and let's go ahead and put these values in. So we'll do fd.update. And we'll put in K. So that's going to be the mango, berries, apple, and so on. And then we'll put in here price. We'll want the total cost, which we haven't calculated yet. So we'll put that as total. And we'll also want here, of course, the QT, QTY, and then QTY. Okay, so let's just do the total. And it's simply going to be price multiplied by the quantity. Okay, and then we'll just take a look and see what the output is. Okay, so you can see here we have these very long numbers. So there's lots of decimal numbers here. We want it just down to 1. So we want to round this up to say, instead of 28.7999, let's round this up to 28.8. So we can do that with a built-in Python function. So that's going to be round. And we'll put in here a 2. And also I'm just going to comment out the print statement here. Okay, great. So you can see now that we have our completed dictionary. All right, so let's take a look at the next example. So here we are with example 4, which is tuples and unpacking of tuples. So we have here our variable called berserk, which is a tuple containing these nested tuples. And what we want to do, of course, is a for loop to unpack all these values. So if I have to do just a for I in berserk, let's see what we get. Print I. Okay, so this is not really what I want. What I want is to have the output of each of these values in alignment with each other. So the way to do that is, instead of having the I, we'll do 2 of these. So we'll have here k and then j. And we'll put it like this, k and then j. Okay, great. So now I can go ahead and do, for example, title, because these are the names of people. So Guts, Casca, and Griffith. Okay, great. And then we'll just do this as upper. Okay, great. In fact, actually, I'll change it the other way around so that we have it as Captain Guts and so on. Great. Okay, so that's an example of tuple unpacking. If, say, for example, we had more values, let's say I had here, we'll do, let's say, sword. We'll do shield. We'll do longsword. Then you would have an error because it's expecting too many values. We have expected 2, but actually we have 3 here. So we'd have to put in another one here. So I'll put in I, and then I'll put in I here as well. Okay, so now you can see it works. All right, so let's take a look at the next example. So this one is very simple. It's just a set, and we have it as s equal to all of these integer values, and we also have 2 booleans. Now, as you recall, true is equivalent to 1, and false is equivalent to 0. So we take a look here. All we have is just 0 and 1. So if I were to do a print of s, and also for I in s and print I, we have essentially the same output here. Okay, so let's take a look at the next example. So here we are with example 6, which is nested lists. So as you can see here, we have a variable called jobs, which is a list containing all these nested lists here. So we have a job title, like say Python dev, and then we have also a salary of, let's say, 45,000 and so on. Okay, so what we like to do is have this output here. So we have the job and we have the salary, and we have the pound sign here in this case instead of a dollar sign. All right, so let's go ahead and recreate this output. So we'll do for j in jobs, and we'll just print out j for now. Okay, and then we want to get these values. So all we have to do here is, let's just get rid of that. We'll just call it description equals job plus j, so we can index that by 0. So that way we'll get the names of the job titles. And also I'm going to capitalize, so just the first letter. And then we'll have here /n for salary being on another line. And then we'll put in here a pound sign plus string j indexed by 1 this time, so we can actually get the salary, so 55, 45, and 70. And lastly, I just want to, actually I'll put this on another line because it's difficult to see. Like that, and then we'll put in here plus /n, and then we'll do print description. We should have the exact same output that we saw at the beginning. Okay, great. So that works perfectly fine. All right, so let's take a look at the next example, which is our final one. Okay, so here we are with our 7th and final example, which is nested for loops. So we have here 2 lists, tastes and fruits, and this is the desired output, which you can see here is repeating the tastes 3 times for crunchy, sweet, and sour. So you can see here crunchy, sweet, and sour, and also the names of each of them as well for the fruits. Okay, so what we need to do is a nested for loop. But first off, let's just do for x in, let's just do tastes, print x and see what we get. Okay, so of course we're just going to get the output of just crunchy, sweet, and sour. So what we need to do here is we'll have for y in fruits, and then we do print x and then y. And I'll just comment out the print x here. Okay, great. So you can see that we have the original output that we saw before. Okay, so that concludes my lecture on for loops. I hope it's been insightful, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thanks very much.